Rusty, how are you? Ian, I'm Michael Lish, Community Skis. You can always reach us at communityskis.com. What this is an overview of our current manufacturing platform, and it's actually a video we're making for Rusty and Ian in Montana, and they're interested in purchasing a platform and starting a local manufacturing component like that in that part of the country. So I'm just going to kind of walk through what we're doing currently. This is our trailered facility. One wonderful thing about it is, too, it's got airbag suspension, so you can put a cockpit back there, travel 300-400 miles, and go back and pick it back up. It also has a great leveling capacity, so our ability to level the trailer off is pretty quick, and that's nice as far as manufacturing. You want sure footing. So I'm going to bring you into the front end. We have a really nice kitchen component that makes sure we're getting fed good. I'm going to bring you in real quick, get out of the noise. We're running, for power, we're running about 30% of operation on solar. We're building out our array on top. We currently are plugged into about 200 watts. We have an additional 500 coming on board. We've got a 4,000 watt inverter, quite a big battery bank. So the whole facility can run quiet, A through Z, design to finished product in hand to ship, all on solar power. Right here, I'm going to show you the design component for the shop. It's some pretty amazing software. And basically, by putting in answers from clients, answers that they're familiar with, making sure their ego's checked, you want to get the right information, the software plugs in and it designs a set of skis per specification. One of the key things to the software is it generates what's called the shop copy. And this section prints out, and I'll show you over there, and it shows us how to set the shop up for this particular ski. I'm kind of moving past into the factory. The factory's double wall, and all the windows are, actually they were sliding glass doors. Rusty, you know I've got a penchant for grabbing things off work sites. I didn't do that in this particular case. It was a remodel on a huge condo complex. And they're sliding glass, so they're tempered safety glass. So it's a really nice high impact glass. Okay, so I'm going to kind of start you back here. This is a ski we're currently making. This is the shop copy, and I'm going to breeze through this just so you get a visual sense. These numbers right here are the key numbers. They tell us how to set up this tool. This is what we call the rail package. Now, we don't use CNC, and we certainly don't think you should be using CNC. This is a much faster platform. It's a much more accurate platform, and it has full custom capabilities. So just by using those numbers generated off the software, we created the shape of the ski. This is a pretty bitchin' ski. It's kind of, I don't think you said you were skiing, Rusty, but Ian, if you are, this is Salcasaro. It's a 186 in length, 102 underfoot, so mid-fat. It's got a tip-early taper, straight side cut in the tail. It's got tip rocker, no tail rocker, decent amount of camber. So he has kind of a technical race background. So he's going to be able to drive this ski, but get it into some moderate powder, especially a maritime pack, which is where we are right now, which is where he skis. This is Oregon. So once we set this tool up, it creates the shape of the ski. And then you can see the tapering. The tapering creates the flex pattern, and that's done on this tool right here. It's actually a chainsaw. I'm going to run it just for a quick second. I'm going to put on some earwear. It's not that loud. So I didn't run the whole gamut, but basically this is a taper deck and it's fully adjustable to create the flex pattern for the ski. There's two things that matter. It's the termination thickness, how thick or thin is it up here, and how long is that taper. The thinner it is, the softer the ski is. The longer the taper, the more generous the flex pattern. So if you taper long, you get a nice flexy tip. You taper short, typically that would be the tail section, it'd be a little bit stiffer overall. So you got pattern of flex and overall stiffness. We have full override capacity in regards to how we mill core, and then some quick sanding, and it gets you to a fine, beautiful finish. Over here is a PTEX edge assembly. This is the assembly that creates, or this is the tool that creates this. Now this is key, and it's really the crux of what we do. Let's see, I can run this core. And it has to make sure that your core PTEX matches perfect. So we're looking at this perfect margin. So these have already been quality checked, and this is actually the second quality checkpoint we've gone through. I didn't actually go through the first. We're also using Kevlar tie-ups on the tip edges. This is about 80-pound test looped over. So we got about 140 if you consider the knot looseness or the loss in strength based on the loop over. But that just ensures there's no blowout when you're doing high impact on moguls or soft tips, you know, just kind of colliding, and or just the longevity of the ski. We haven't had any problems, but it's just an assurance. For park skis, we actually lace hardcore in here, and we heavily reinforce for rail impact. So we're really watching out for, you know, kind of compaction on the sidewall when you got park riders that are slamming on rails, coming back down and hitting those. So we beef that section up, plus we do this, what we call the lacing effect. And if it's somebody running switch, running huge, all mountain skiing, we can lace up the tail too. Once we have those two parts, this ski was just built yesterday. So basically a ski is a composite, a snowboard, and this factory has capacity to do snowboards, split snowboards, and also skis. Our focus as a business is strictly skis, custom skis, AT, ultralight backcountry, and everything in between. Pro mogul skis, up to Alaskan guide skis. The platform, you know, adjusts for all of that in terms of length, width, camber rocker profiles. So what we have here is the composite being built up. You can see the aluminum cassette. It's like a pizza dish. Different size pizzas require different size dishes. Different lengths of skis require different lengths of cassette. So everything's built up on top of that. It's bagged, and then it gets put on the camber rocker rack. Now these are the camber rocker racks, and they're fully adjustable. As if you recall, the ski we're doing right now has tip rocker but no tail rocker. So instead of clamping up here, we would clamp here and put a block here. I know that doesn't quite make sense, but that brings the contact point here, and then there would be the rocker zone. So depending on where you put your rocker blocks determines the length of rocker, tip and tail, and depending on what blocks you put in determines the rise of rocker. That also, like here, we actually have a camber block. This is what we call a straight carving ski. So there's no tip rocker. It's probably going back east, like more of a hard pack, no powder. Hardcore carving, it's a little bit narrower, so they're looking for faster transition. Now that's some technical stuff in regards to how we design skis. Just trying to get the point across that we've gone from a 104 underfoot to probably 72 underfoot in this particular ski. From here, it goes into the hot box. It actually gets vacuumed. I'm going to turn that on. So you can actually see this ski. I'm sorry, I'll bring you back up here, and you can see that this vacuum bag is actually reconformed to the shape of the ski. Okay. Once you vacuum the ski, you sleeve it, back it, put it on the camber rocker rack. Then it goes down into here, and then there's a heater. We're using propane in a catalytic setting, so it's very safe. You get to about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're on a station platform with plugs and outlets, which is probably what you guys have, we definitely recommend UV lights, probably 500 watts, an array of 2 on either side with some circulatory ventilation, which gives you a really nice ambient surrounding air. This is the superior system to hard stack pressing. Typically skis get smashed together, they have a heating element, they hyperheat. In that process they concave, convex, they use a lot of energy to create that heat, then they got to cool it down, then they got to grind that convex out, the unflatness of the base. This is low temperature curing, about 140 degrees, 50 minutes in the whole cure cycle, it's out. But if you need more bays, it's not like you're buying more press stacks. They're very expensive. I built them, no. Vacuum, hot box is a superior setup. It's a lot less expensive, and it gives you much better results. From here, you're going to take the ski out, and all this trim, I'm not going to go through that process, but it gets trim cut. We're using a Boss jigsaw. It's a really fast process. Then you have scribe lines. I'm not sure if I have them on this ski. Yeah, you can see these markings here. They're actually on the base of any ski we make. You'll cut, and then you'll use a grinder to come around. Side grind with a 4-inch Porter cable that cleans off the edge. You're going to go through 2 steps in that to get it polished, and then you're going to use the same 4-inch Porter cable sander. Now this again, is blowing away Wintersteiger. Wintersteiger is getting dumber and dumber by getting more expensive and charging you more and more to do what the you know, the shop techs can no longer do. That's fine. But the 4-inch Porter cable gives us an amazing flat base, really nice structure, and it's polished, and then we do hand edge work. So we're coming up with a much faster approach to a really good finish on the base, nice side tuning. Get that done. Here's something that's finished, really nice. There's a nice base finish on this. A nice, actually, you're going to see some buildup. We use a Fuji HVLP turbine spray using a European clear coat finish. And this is a veneered ski. Obviously, you have the capacity to do full custom graphics, but some people like this elegant straight look as well. So that'll get one more polish hit on the side edge. This will get base waxed, and that's a finished ski. So with a seasoned crew, which is my business partner and I, Kristen, working together, it's 2 people in the shop, running one 300-watt Honda EUI, the ultra high-end generators, the inverter generators. Running one of those, we could build a set of skis to this stage probably in about 3 hours. Now, when you're going back to back, the next one comes out 45 minutes later. It's not 3 hours per ski, it's 3 hours to get through the cycle. But while she'll be building, I'll be getting her deck ready for the next ski. So you're looking at a cycle time of about, let's say 45-50 minutes, which is perfect for a 2-bay curing cycle. As the first one goes in, she's building second. As the second one goes in, she's building third. And as the third one's going in, the first one comes out. Now that's in restricted space. I mean, obviously with larger footprint, you can blow out your press capacity and or solar cure your skis. You can put these directly out in sunlight. You're probably going to generate a surface temperature depending on where you're at. If it's in excess of 100 degrees, it's exponential in terms of how the cure cycle works. So every 10 degrees is probably about 30 minutes in cure cycle reduction in terms of timing. There's a lot of factors that go in that, and there's a lot of ways to tell if your ski's cured or not. So you don't even need a solar box, or you don't even need a hot box. We do. We actually are able to build up to probably negative, well, I wouldn't say negative, in Fahrenheit, maybe down to 0 degrees. We're a fully functional shop, so we can be mountain based, whatever the case is. We'll get this shop warmed up, obviously, to a working temperature, and then we're able to cure skis in the hot box. So I'm going to wrap it there. Hope that makes a lot of sense. If you have any questions, or if anybody has watched this video other than Rusty and Ian, please don't hesitate to shoot an email. Thanks.